people tell you who to be. They tell you should be prettier. They tell you that you should just shut your mouth. And there's people that don't have healthy babies and they can't get pregnant. So I should be so, so happy, but I am not.
You can simultaneously be so happy that you have this beautiful, healthy child, but also be struggling with something at the same time.
It was tough on the relationship because I didn't know what to do to help her.
I didn't feel like I was my own human for 10 years. I was always Matthew Stafford's wife.
Kelly, I selfishly wanted you on the show because I think that it seems like you balance everything that you have going on so elegantly.
Oh.
4 young girls, a wife to an NFL QB.
Mm-hmm.
You have your own podcast, Owning Your Worth, and also you said that you're on tour and you're managing to show up on social media and look hot while doing it. What is the secrets? What is the secret medicine?
Oh, no, I appreciate you saying that it looks like I handle it well and balance things, but I truly don't. I mean, I'm like everyone else. To be honest, the tour's a lot. I didn't think it was going to be, but I am really ready for it to be over. So we have one last show in December. And then other than that, I will say I wouldn't have done this when my kids were younger. Like they've gotten to an age where, you know, they can shower themselves. My older ones can help the little one shower. So that's gotten easier. I have a little more time on my hands. But I'm still struggling to juggle it all. I feel like my husband kind of is taking a back seat, which I hate doing because obviously marriage is important. But he's like my last, are you good? Which is not great, but it's what it is right now.
It's a season.
It's a season. It is the season right now. And it's, one of my podcasts will stop after the season, I believe. It's Time Out and it's based on football. So that one we'll take a little break from that so that it will be helpful. And obviously him being done with the off season, it's a little more time for us to reconnect. So I'm just kind of waiting till that to happen.
Is there like a finesse that happens, meaning like you know when to like you can't upset him at a certain time? Like is there like I feel like there'd be a dance if you're strategic.
There definitely is.
What's
you must
the
not
dance?
be very strategic, Lauren.
No, when he's stressed, I'm like, put his face in it.
No, I mean, honestly, he does a really good job of kind of disconnecting from what's stressing him, which is usually work, football, when he comes home. And now having 4 little girls, that really helps to just take his mind off of a lot of things that are stressing him out.
Yeah.
With me, I mean, I just I don't tiptoe, but I do, when I see him very stressed, I try not to pile it on. Because I would say at the beginning, when we didn't have kids, I would pile it on, being like, it's just football. Like I would just, give him all my stress. Anything that went wrong, I was like, you need to help me. Turns out that does not work. So I've learned to kind of just pick my battles when it comes to not like fighting, but just, hey, I need help with this more than, okay, maybe I can continue to discipline this child for right now. But sometimes I'm like, I need your help. I need you to do this because this child's not listening. During the season, there's less of that. Just
Lauren,
because.
get your pen out and write all this down.
I have a honey-do list scroll in my head, but it's like a honey-do priorities list.
Yeah.
And I do something similar. I give you the main priority that I need done, and then I'll go to the next thing. I only give you one thing at once. They can't handle more than once.
No multitasking.
No, it's not an octopus. Let's put it that way.
No.
I read a book. It says it's not good to multitask. If you try to multitask, you're less effective.
Well, good, because you can't do it. Okay. Moving right
I don't
along.
think we have a choice.
No, we don't have
to
a choice.
multitask.
No, it's true. Especially, it's funny. We have friends, like half of our friends have children and the other half are still running around without children.
Okay.
Whenever I hear the ones without the children telling me how busy and stressed they are, I'm like, you just wait, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
Because one thing I think about all the time is like we've gotten so much better with our time ever since we've had the kids because you're basically forced to.
Mm-hmm.
When I hear some of my guy friends saying like how stressed they're, I'm like, buddy, you were just out all weekend at the bar hanging out. Like you can't be stressed. I don't get to do that.
I have a friend that has a 5-hour routine in the morning.
A 5-hour routine?
He wakes up at 5.
Like I meditate
over
for
at 10.
this, I do that. I'm like, that's gone once you start.
God, that sounds amazing. I would love to have that.
Don't you feel
5
like
minutes?
Well, don't you feel like the more kids you have, like I said, you have 4, you have to be really strategic with your productivity.
Oh, yes. Like when I go to bed and I feel like it helps, I don't sleep unless I can put a to-do list for the next day. of like, okay, this is what I'm going to get done while they're at school. Their school is really short in California. I don't know if that's a California thing, but they get out literally at 1 and 2.
That's like what we have in Texas too.
That's normal?
No, her kids are older. That's not normal, Michael. What do you mean? Her kids are 7.
What time? Yeah, but when they're that age, because what is that, first grade or second grade?
Second.
I could use a good 3.
What happened to 8 to 3?
Yeah.
Wasn't that, is that what yours was?
That's what we did.
Yeah.
I thought it was just a kindergarten or a young kid thing where you get out.
Her kids aren't in kindergarten.
No, yeah, none of my, I have a T-care, but yeah, they're out very early. So I really do have to plan when I'm doing things. Now with Christmas here, it's like, when do I wrap their gifts? Well, okay, we have this amount of time I don't know. I just have to write everything down before I go to bed and kind of try to plan it out.
Do you have like a psycho schedule?
Depends on the day, but it is, podcast days are longer. And I always try to put something in there for myself. I love to play tennis, work out. So like, that's my thing. But with holidays coming, it's gotten less and less of things for me and more for, everybody else, which is what the holidays are.
You got to just get over to January 4th. The best day, or the best week, I should say, of the year is the 2nd through the 8th. Because everyone has collectively decided of the undertone of they're going to just stop with the text.
January
stop with the
2nd?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
No.
Watch. Wrong.
What do you mean? People are like ready to go.
You will see people are in hibernation from the 2nd to the 8th. Watch it. It's always when I do the most self-reflection.
No, it's the 27th to the 2nd.
I disagree.
Right after Christmas?
That's when people calm down.
No, because
your kids are still home.
No. Wrong.
Yeah, that's true.
2nd to the 8th. Trust me.
I feel like I can't do it until my kids go back to school, which I think is around that time.
Yeah, they go back to school and you have a little bit of space and there's not 100 emails. Watch.
Everyone makes the resolutions.
I love my favorite day is the 3rd. Everyone's just asleep. It's like Rip Van Winkle. I'm telling you.
I'm going to watch it this year.
Is that when everyone realizes that their New Year's resolutions are not going to happen? It's the 3rd. It's like the first or the 2nd, they're like, all right, here we go. And the 3rd, they're like, fuck, this is going to be hard.
Yeah.
I think
probably.
It's the 8th or the 9th. Like
you think it's that far? That's a man.
I think they try. They go for a minute and then they're like, nope.
I fail very quickly on mine and it's horrible. But
have you always been this entrepreneurial and multifaceted? It's almost like you could kind of relax and eat bonbons and you don't.
I've always wanted more for myself than to just be someone's wife. And that's really what I was for a long time. I was the girlfriend, the fiance, then the wife. And I went to nursing school, thought that was going to be, what I loved. Turns out it wasn't. I did it for like a year after and was like, this is not my thing. Had my kids. And then all of a sudden I was somebody's mom. So I was always somebody's something. And I really just wanted to have something for myself.
Yeah.
I knew I was good at talking, even though I suck at the English language, but I felt like I could storytell. And podcasting, I didn't really know much about until I moved to LA. And that's when I kind of got into it. And I said, well, it's a new start for my husband and my family. Might as well make it a new start for me too. And I've loved it. It's given me an avenue that's mine. Now, it's gotten me in trouble a bunch too. But
what do you get in trouble for?
No, just things I say that hit the media, which is often. But
can you give us an example of what you're talking about?
Well, like last year, I think it was, this was the worst one I've done because it affected a locker room. I was talking about how this generation is different. My husband's been in the league for a really long time, and they didn't have social media when he first entered. And so no one was checking their phones or no one was on their phone all the time. And now, everybody is. We are. Everybody has their phone in their hand. And so I just said, sometimes it's hard, I feel like, to connect to people because people are on their phones. And that hit the media as my husband wasn't connecting with his teammates and things like that. So
they manipulated it.
They manipulate it, and which they always do. But everyone just reads headlines.
Well, I thought it was going to be way worse than that.
Well, there's been other ones, but I'd rather not discuss those.
Because it's funny because I think because of what he does, everyone's just looking for. It's always interesting when we have certain people that have high profiles come on the show, what they'll pull. Like one person, I won't say who it was, but they came in like, oh, I slept in the bed with my child. And it was like somebody rapid fired 80 publications that she sleeps with the child. I'm like, if this was any other parent, and nobody would give a shit.
Right.
And honestly, why does anyone give a shit? It's just because it was that person.
No, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that.
Yeah, a lot of these
very
publications,
relatable.
they're struggling. They're looking for anything.
Yeah, and I hope that's there's been quite a few. So I have to somewhat watch what I say. There's certain things on my podcast that I won't talk about, and that's basically like our, certain parts of our life that I won't discuss. But other than that, like I've loved having it. And there's been a few times where it's been as bad where I'm like, I just want to stop everything. I don't want to put my family out there anymore because I'm very real and vulnerable on my podcast. And I'm okay with that. But I do feel like sometimes it gets to the point where maybe my daughters, when they grow up, they're like, I don't want this following me.
Yeah.
So I've stopped using names. But stories, it's hard because that's about being a parent is talking about maybe the best and worst parts of your day with your child. And that's a lot about what my podcast is. So it's hard to take them completely out of it, but I've like tried to stop using names, tried to stop, telling stories without divulging too much.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
It's like they're the supporting characters. And yeah, I like saying my kids are extras on my Instagram story. They're not, I'm not like following them to the bathroom so you can see how I potty train them.
Yeah.
Like it's just not, that's not, I'm not the right follow for that.
Neither am I. And turns out I suck at potty training. So there's that.
I just found this out. I did lazy potty training. I didn't know that I was doing it, but that's what it's called.
Oh, there's a term. What does that mean?
Term. We just
let them do
like
it?
nothing. What did we do?
Well, I feel
we just kind of like, we're going to try to take the diaper off and then hopefully hit the toilet. And it was,
they kind of figure
but
it
you
out,
just do
right?
it over time.
Yeah. Your first is a boy.
Girl.
Your first is a girl.
There was no strategy. It was just like, let's try the toilet
That's
today.
great because I really did it horrible the first time and it was two of them and it backfired.
That's hard though too. At the same time.
I pushed it and they weren't ready and it backfired.
What's the age you're supposed to do it?
It's just when the bladder muscle's ready and they'll tell you. They'll there's dry diapers more often. I think, I'm not an expert by any means, but that's kind of what I've been told. And honestly, my third and fourth did it themselves.
That's what I think. I think just let it be intuitively going with the flow. And
Yes.
I guess it's called lazy potty training.
Oh, I like that.
I had a friend that like committed the whole weekend to doing it.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, I'm going to stay home and I'm going to do, I was just like, might take a year.
And how did that go for her?
She made it work. But let
She
me
made
tell
it
you
work.
something. She makes everything work.
Okay,
It's
there you
militant.
There was no choice.
There's no choice. The kid didn't have a choice.
Well, and it turns out too, like everybody knows, but all kids are different. So they're all gonna. I felt a lot of pressure because I had friends who were already potty training their kids, and they were already potty trained, and I was like, we gotta get going.
Yeah.
Like, this is, and then they were failing at it, and I was like, what's happening? Which is hard. It's hard when you feel pressures around, and then you're forcing your kids, and then it really backfires on you.
You just can't look at anyone else's grass.
I know.
It's just you almost can't like get in the game of the milestones and if my kid's potty trained by 10, I'm good.
Yeah, listen, turns out everyone gets potty trained.
That's how I'm like, they're gonna walk.
Yes.
They might
Eventually
walk.
they'll walk. I didn't crawl until I was 16 months.
I mean,
For the parents out there that are super excited to get their kids up and walking and moving, I'm like, I would take all the time needed.
know. Once they're gone, they're gone. Once they
they're
start
moving,
moving, I
yep.
know.
I mean,
know.
honestly, let them like take their time.
How old are y'all's kids?
4 and 2.
4 and 2. And so you have a 2-year-old little boy.
2-year-old boy.
What is that like?
It's a lot of work.
Well,
It's different than a
I feel
girl.
like they're wild.
I've
Boys are
observed that
wild.
he's hurt all the time, and the other one will tell us the 2 times specifically, the 2 times that she
she's
spilled. She'll be like, one time it was the coffee, and one time it was the chia seed tea. Our son is
Hold on, but
smashing
chia
everything.
seed tea. Like let's
yeah.
chia seed tea. Let me tell you about
Well, who
spilling
makes that
chia seed
anyway?
tea. Me.
Yeah.
It's good for your digestion. Chia seeds.
Okay.
6,000 spilled the tea all over the white bed frame. Tiny little ticks
no.
of chia seeds stuck. You know how chia seeds stick like a lip?
Mm-hmm.
Suctioned.
No.
So that was like 20 spills in one.
Was that a repurpose? Like, did you repurpose that?
I had to individually pick each chia seed like a piece of lice.
Ew.
Shit.
It's fucking bad.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
it was
our
horrific.
son just like, he's always got bruises, and he's always smashing into things, and he's always falling down, and like, he's always bumping stuff. I mean, he spills everything. But it's just like a different, I don't know, it's just different.
That's what I was wondering because every friend of mine that has a boy, they're wild. And I don't know if I thought I was gonna be a full boy mom. I really wanted all boys. Turns out I love my girls, so that's good. Matthew wanted all girls, so he got what he wanted. But like I'm so grateful looking around because they sit and they color. They're very just like, they're not crazy.
A couple months ago, if I would have said that they're different, I would have been cut off the air. They would just cancel my show.
No, they're different.
Like, how dare
They
you?
are different.
I hate to break it
Well,
down.
I will say I think girls are going to be tougher when they're older. So there's that.
When
going
I
for
was
me.
a kid, my mom, I was always getting into trouble. And so she stopped my dad. She's like, okay, you're taking him. And then I take the 2 girls. And then like it flipped when they became teenagers. And she's like, it's a lot.
I'm hoping Matthew will take them when they're teenagers. So I don't have to deal
he's
with it.
the guy.
He'll be
who knows.
retired, you know?
Yeah, put the elbow grease
Your
in.
turn.
What's something that you have spoken on your own show that's really resonated with your audience?
I think just opening up about IVF, things that are imposter syndrome, feeling like I don't deserve a lot that's been given and a lot that I have. But I would say those 2 things. I opened up about going through IVF when I was in Michigan. Matthew and I had tried for, I don't know, I'd say a year and a half. We knew we were going to have trouble based on some stuff that was going on with me. I didn't realize how intense IVF was and how emotional it can make you. And I felt like no one talked about it.
Yeah.
So that one really resonated with a lot of people. I'm now a part of a charity called Chosen that we grant IVF cycles to people that can't afford it, which is something I'm really passionate about. And turns out so is the morning after crowd. And then the imposter syndrome. I mean, that was one of my most vulnerable podcasts. I just kind of let it all out. Things that I've been feeling for years. Like I said, I mean, I didn't feel like I was my own human for 10 years being in Michigan.
What was like the main reason for that?
Just because I was always Matthew Stafford's wife. I needed to sit down and be quiet. I don't need to do anything. Just take care of the house, take care of the kids. You're so blessed. And it's not that I wasn't. I know that I'm very blessed in this life. But there's something to feeling like your own individual.
Yeah, I imagine that's a very challenging dynamic when someone that you're married to has that size of a platform with that big of a fan base.
Yeah. And Detroit was tough because Detroit is all sports. So like we walked around, here is really nice. We blend in, no one really gives a shit. So it's kind of awesome. But in Detroit, it wasn't like that. And you would always feel like we would go to an event and we'd be talking and I'd be talking to somebody and I'd always feel their eyes like waiting for their chance to get to Matthew, who was so that was really tough because I'm also somebody who loves to communicate and be with people, and all of a sudden they didn't want to talk, so I was just like, okay, so I shut down.
Well, the best thing about LA is now everybody will do that with everyone when they're talking to you.
Yeah, you're like, well, you're not that interesting, so
I call it the lily pad. They lily pad to
Wait, I love that.
Yeah, it's a distracted look in their eye,
But
and it's
you're,
like
but you're right.
You don't,
We moved from here to Austin. And it's different there because, there's just so many people, public people out here that you see all the time. So people are kind of desensitized to it.
Yeah.
So I can imagine when you're in Detroit, it'd be challenging.
I mean, what else is in Detroit besides athletes? I mean, Kid Rock, Eminem, that's really about it. So you stand out there.
But you've done such a good job, I think, of carving out your own path. Like you should be so proud of yourself. You've done you sort of made your own way.
Well, I appreciate that. It took a lot of time. Like I didn't know what I wanted to do or who I wanted to be for a long time. And that's part my own fault and part the fault of people always looking around me. But I have enjoyed being here. And I really enjoyed just having my own something. Now I'm not just someone's mom or someone's wife. I'm also, and it's not what you do. We know that. But it feels nice to contribute something.
I have a hot tip.
Okay.
For all men.
You look at me like I just said
This is a big hot tip. Listen up,
I like
men.
this.
When you are talking to a couple about business or you want someone to invest in you, look at the wife.
Mm-hmm.
The wife is the one that's making the decision, and she will do it subtly. She will say, that's not who I would work with, pass the ketchup. You have to look at the wife. And I have been around so many men in rooms with Michael where they don't even look at me because they're just focused on Michael and they don't realize
Yeah.
Let me talk to you, Ben.
We did live in West Hollywood for a while, you know?
Yeah.
The wife is such a decision maker in a very subtle way.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting to me how a lot of men don't realize that they think they're talking to the head. The head's the wife.
I agree.
Hate to break it to you.
Yeah. And Matthew even tell people that. He's like, I got to talk to my wife first. It is very, and you know where I find it really apparent too, or what I would say is when waiters are serving or like asking for your order and they are solely looking at everybody else but the wife, or just that's how it feels. Whenever we sit down at a table, if the waiter comes to me first and asks for now I'm from the South too, so that just, for me, that's how it should happen. Order, the food should come to the woman first, all those things. If they do that, I'm tipping. Like I'm going to be, and to be honest, I usually sign the bill anyways. So that's another, like you're saying that, I'm like, yeah, when waiters come up and they just kind of just look at Matthew and they're like, or waitresses, same thing. And then they're like, and you? And I'm like, and they'll look away. I'm going, well, are you listening? So I agree with you. I'm on your, because it is true that men tend to think that they run the show, love you. But turns out usually the woman in the house does.
The woman is the compass.
No, I'll get home.
They
I'm
make
like,
the
I just met
decisions.
this great person, and Lauren's like, no, not them. And I'm like, then it's over. Then it's done.
Matthew reads people really well. I'm horrible at reading people. So that's actually flipped for us. He's like, I'll be like, oh my God, I met this really nice person. I'll say the name. He's like, oh no. And then I'm like, no, they're great. And I'll spend another day with them. I'm like, fuck, he was right.
That's like you.
Yeah, you do that too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think are
we too easy? Like we're first impressions. Like that's why I say, is it easy to make a good first impression on me?
I think that if you're married for a long time, there's one person that has the nose.
That's true.
It's like a nose for bullshit.
That's true.
You have more of the nose for that, but I make more of the decisions.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think like everybody has certain skill sets. I can.
No, you think you're great at this.
No,
Just brag.
I think that I'm good at sussing out people's like real intentions early, and if someone's a nice I watch the way people treat other people. I'm very observant.
Okay.
Like if somebody comes into this studio and they're super nice to me and they're rude to any of the people that work in, I'm like,
yeah,
I don't like I watch little kind of things like that, or someone how just how they treat people in everyday. So I'll see sometimes because of what she does, I'll see people like kind of behave a certain way and then not somewhere else. I'm like, oh, no.
Got it. Yeah,
it's just like little things. People will tell you who they are.
If you're around me and Michael,
they will.
serving. Careful. Careful.
Shit. Were you guys nice when you walked in?
Yes, you were lovely.
No, you were
Both
nice.
of you were lovely. Okay, you've talked about postpartum depression.
Mm-hmm.
I had the worst postpartum depression with my first. And that is something that obviously we know is not talked about. You've had 4 children. What did you find to be the best tool in your toolbox to help with that? Is there a tool?
I would say talking to somebody. It took me a little bit. I think I was so embarrassed because they tell you how happy you should be and you have this healthy baby. And it was actually after my third Hunter that I had it. And there was nothing really that anyone could do in my immediate circle. Like Matthew tried, my parents, everyone, tried to say things that they thought were going to be helpful or do things. Turns out I just really needed someone to listen and not judge. And I didn't think I could do that with the people around me. Not that they're not judgmental people, but it's just, you have this thought in your mind of saying, okay, I just had another beautiful baby and they're healthy and there's people that don't have healthy babies and they can't get pregnant. So I should be so, so happy, but I am not. Like I am struggling. I don't want to get up. I love the baby, but I also want to hand her off a lot. And I don't think there's much wrong with that. Sometimes you need a break, but it got to the point where I was also failing to take care of my 2 older ones. And that wasn't fair. They were about almost 2 and needed their mom. And so finally kind of got the courage to go talk to someone. And to be honest, I was so skeptical. I was like, this is not going to help. I don't want to be put on medicine. I didn't want to go down that route because I just was like, I'm fine. Turns out went to this person and she was incredible. I believe therapists know how to get to the bottom of things. And so that's where I found myself again in a way. And I've actually carried that through LA. Like I have a therapist here. I just think being able to get things out that you might not be able to the person even closest to you. Honestly, I feel like sometimes that's the hardest person to open up to. Because I felt embarrassed. I was, went through IVF, wanted kids so bad, got pregnant naturally at this one very quickly. And so I should be so happy. And it was the complete opposite for me.
I think that's where it makes it worse, though, is that you have the postpartum depression or anxiety, and then there's like shame that you feel that way when you're supposed to be so happy. And what I've realized is you can simultaneously be so happy that you have this beautiful, healthy child, but also be struggling with something at the same time.
Yeah.
For instance, with pregnancy. Whenever I've been pregnant, I'm so blessed and happy that I'm pregnant. But it's also shitty to get fat and cellulite and feel like a whale.
100%.
And be waddling around and feel hormonal and grumpy and have food aversions. Like I just don't. You can have two things at once.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like you can be happy while mourning something that you might have lost.
Yeah.
And for me, I really struggle with my postpartum body. In fact, I would not get naked in front of Matthew for a long time. I was just embarrassed. I was so used to a certain body type of mine, and all of a sudden that's out the door. And I had to realize, looking back, it's okay to feel bad about that. I feel like society's like, oh, but you just had a baby. You look so good. Don't worry about it. That's your scar, the scar of your child. And I'm going, yeah, I get that, but I'm also really struggling with what I look like. And as what's it when you're all about outside looks? This is where the English language is hard for me. Superficial as that might sound, it's the truth. And so I was like, I can be happy, but also more in the fact that I lost with my first two babies all of my freedom. I have two people to take care of.
Yeah.
And that is what it is. And you can mourn that. You can mourn your body. It's going to be different for the rest of your life, and that's okay. But it's also okay to sit in that for a while and reflect on it and be like, okay, this is what it is now. But the fact that people tell you, don't worry about it. It's just your postpartum. You'll be fine. This is your new body. You're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. This is your new life. Well, give me a second to mourn my old life that I'm now don't have anymore.
And I also think if you have intrusive thoughts in the postpartum fear, that's a whole, you feel like you're going insane.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Well, I'll just be honest, and be careful here, but a lot of men, we just don't have any idea what the hell's happening or going on. When she was going through it,
Michael told me his hair hurt when he was when I was 10 months pregnant.
No, that's not
10 months pregnant. He told me his hair hurt.
Your hair hurt?
No, it wasn't my hair. That's not what I said.
What does that even mean?
Repeat it.
No, it was one of these things. I don't know. My
head
said your
hurts. Hair hurt.
I might have, but I wasn't trying to take away from. Have you ever seen that meme where it's I'm tired, but I know I'll never be as tired as my wife is tired. It's
Learn
that.
It, live it, love it.
But anyway, no, I just, at the time when she was going through that, especially as our first child, and nobody ever talked to us about this subject. And this was
I
4
thought you
years.
had the baby and it was skipped to my loo and it was
But nobody, we
the
didn't know what to
pregnancy
do.
was the hard part.
So
I agree.
I'm snap out of it. Now, and I've taken a lot of shit on the show in the past. We've talked about how I had to go through it, but I had no understanding of what was happening.
Yeah. And I feel like it's tough for the husband. It's not just you. I feel like every guy's trying to figure out kind of where they should be or what they should do for their wife who
Laser
might
tag.
be who might be
It's tough on the relationship, I think. That's meaning it wasn't tough on me, it was much tougher on her, but it was tough on the relationship because I didn't know what to do to help her.
Yeah. And there's honestly, unfortunately, there's not much you can do.
Yeah, but now I've learned, okay, it would have been better if I would have just shut the hell up and listened a lot.
Maybe that.
It's so easy. Shut up.
So this is funny that you say that because I have a feeling of this. Matthew gets hit every week, right? He comes home, he's beaten and battered and all these things. And I really hurt my back 2 weeks ago. And I've been really struggling, but I can't complain. So I know, this is one of the things I tiptoe around. I know, okay, I can't talk about my back because I know he's dealing with far worse situations on his body. But maybe, that's kind of this. Maybe just don't talk about how your hair hurts.
Or
while
how you
she's-
have what's your latest that you have a dot? Show her the dot.
No, it was like a
Let me
broken,
see the
cap-
dot.
it was
Show
a
the
broken
dot.
capillary.
That
right there with
dot that he's talked about every day
it's-
for the
What
last
dot?
year. What dot?
There's
What
a dot right
dot?
there.
Show the dot.
It's like right there.
Everyone on YouTube,
Oh,
go zoom
okay.
in on the dot.
No,
You can't see it. It's an invisible dot.
No, but I was wondering. Don't go on a tangent about me here.
I'll be like, my arm just got cut off. He's like, ugh, this
dot.
No, but the
He calls
point,
it a dot.
The point is,
It is a dot.
it is the tired analogy. I'll be exhausted, but I realize I'm not allowed to tell her that because
Good.
she's more exhausted.
Yes.
You
Does
know,
that make sense?
yes, it is. And I always try and remind myself that it's not a competition because I'll do the same thing to Matthew. He'll
Take
be
your
like,
notes out again, Lauren.
well, it's tough because when he comes home and he's like, I've had a really long day, I want to be like, you've had a long day. Let me just tell you about my day real quick. And I know like what is put on his shoulders is a lot. And there's a lot going on at that facility every day. But there's also a lot going on at home. So I have to remind myself a lot, like when he says something and I want to respond in a way, I have to be like, it's not a competition. It's not a competition. He's tired. Just let him be tired. You know, I can deal with mine in a different way. But there's a lot of times where I'm like, I'm fucking exhausted. Like you're tired. You haven't even seen your kids yet. And kids are exhausting.
Yep. They got
What
a lot
I've
of work.
learned though, doing this show for as long as we've done it and having all sorts of different people is like somebody's worst trauma is their worst trauma. Meaning like if somebody lost a loved one or a parent and that's their worst thing, and then somebody lost their job and that's the worst thing, like they feel the same thing almost as much as until they have a greater trauma.
So your dot is equal to me getting my arm cut off.
dot in per se
Got it.
is, but do you know what I'm saying?
No, I
Like,
absolutely
they don't
do.
even
Oh my
have
God.
they don't have the ability to even see like, oh,
No.
there's a worse level. It's like for them, whatever it's like when you see a young kid going through a breakup, it's like, this is the worst thing that's ever happened. I'm never going to, it's like,
And it is for them.
For them, yes.
It is the worst. And I'll say something on that. I, in 2019, had a brain tumor and felt guilty
I wanna
for
talk to you about that.
feeling,
I want to talk to you about that.
felt guilty for feeling the trauma, felt guilty for feeling scared because it wasn't cancerous, right? So I was very lucky in that. And I felt bad even saying I was terrified of surgery because, you know, there were people that were fighting brain cancer. And so, but that was the worst trauma I have been through and the scariest thing I have been through. So it was hard. Like you're saying, it's hard to, you're right. There's certain traumas that people feel that are equal to even greater traumas of others.
Well, that's the problem with a lot of people now commenting on how people should feel about their traumas, because there's, you know, there's people that feel the need to tell people how they should feel about their trauma, but you can't until you're in it. How did you figure out that you had a brain tumor? That's terrifying.
I was actually trying to teach my little girls a front roll. I cheered and tumbled through my life, and so it was something that came very natural. Front roll obviously comes naturally to a lot of people, but I did it and the room just started spinning. And I told my mom who was sitting there, I was like, ooh, I'm getting old. She was like, what? I was like, the room is like spinning after that. She was like, you're 29 years old. What are you talking about? And the vertigo spell started to get worse and worse to the point where I was holding Hunter, which was my third at the time. And she was about 6 months, maybe she was somewhere around there. It's also in the middle of all the postpartum depression stuff. So there was a lot thrown at me. But anyways, I was holding her and I felt the room spinning and I kind of just threw her to Matthew before I went down. And right after that, he was like, we have to get you checked out. And months in between, but we finally got the results back. And I had an acoustic neuroma that was sitting on my balance nerve.
Did they have to obviously operate, I'm sure?
Mm-hmm, they did.
That's so overwhelming. It's your brain.
Yeah.
It's your brain.
It's I will say, like, I am great looking back, grateful for it, but I've never been the same.
What do you mean?
It just takes me longer now. Like, I played a lot of sports, and that's where I found my love and my joy. Actually, I not met Matthew, but Matthew said he fell in love with me when he saw me playing pickup basketball. It's just what I've done. That's why I thought I was gonna be a boy mom. And so now playing sports, my balance is I'm still learning. My brain has to learn to balance on one side. Normally you have both sides.
When you work it out like this though, how like through sports, like say you said you play tennis.
Imagine tennis is helpful.
Does it make it stronger?
The more you can make it uncomfortable, the better it gets.
Do you notice anything else after that? Like, do you notice that you like smell different or?
No smell and taste, thank God, because I love food. But I have a slight Bell's palsy on my right side that I manipulate with Botox, and then my part of my hearing is gone on my right side.
Do you know what caused it or what brought it on, or?
It's rare. It's just random.
Wow.
So it could happen to anyone.
Happen to anybody.
How do you know when, looking back, and I'm sure you've talked to a lot of different people about this, how do you know when to go into the doctor and get a checkup?
I mean, to be honest, as moms and as you know, we tend to put ourselves last.
Yeah.
It took my husband forcing me to go. It wasn't like, I didn't think anything was wrong. I just thought I was getting dizzy spells. Like maybe I was dehydrated or something. I don't drink a ton of water, so maybe that was it. Never in my wildest dreams did I think something was going to come back. Because I was a genuinely healthy person, and I, try to treat my body well.
How long was this whole process once you got diagnosed? Did it take 2 years? What was it?
Short. I did not want it to be long. And what sucks is they gave us options, and I hate options, especially when you're talking about a brain tumor. They're like, well, you can watch it, you can sit and we'll watch it grow, and then once it starts really messing with you, and I was like, messing with me? I can't hold my kids. Like I'm having these spells, and or you could radiate it, which most people leaned against that, or take it out. And I immediately wanted to take it out.
When you took it out and you woke up, is it something that you feel better in a week, or is it a huge process?
I had to relearn to walk.
Oh my gosh.
And it's not like it took forever. Like it was.
Yeah, but still, that's super intense.
Yeah, it's just because your balance is off. Like, and they don't want you progressing too quickly, because if you fall and hurt, things. I couldn't be with my kids. I think it was 3 weeks they were out of the house. And it just, it's, once you learn it, but you got to take the time to do it. How
did you guys talk to your children about you going through that? Were you radically honest, or did you kind of guard them?
They were really young, so I was lucky in that. The girls were 2. My oldest were 2.
So they were tiny.
They were young. They didn't really have an idea of what was happening.
And you were going through postpartum. You just had a baby, and you were dealing with this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a whole.
It was a lot thrown at me.
Yeah.
But I still think this is true. Like, my life needed it. I needed a pause. I needed like a slow down situation. Really focus on me, because that had been the last thing on my mind for a long time. And I truly think it helped my marriage. It helped our family become like strong. And we always come back to it. If things are tough or if we're struggling, we always kind of sit down and just say, all right, things could be worse. Things, and right, everything could always be worse. Things could be, anyways, but we always try and go back to it in that time and just be like, we're so grateful for each other and what we have and the family we have, even though sometimes it's really hard.
Yeah, it makes everything else seem small in comparison.
Mm-hmm.
Are you doing anything where people can like DM you if they have a question about it?
Yeah,
I'm sure people like have DM'd you and reached out.
They have, yeah. And I do check the ones that come through that I usually, people who are following, have the pride, whatever that is. But, and I'll check and see, because there have been a lot of people that have reached out. Supposedly it's a rare tumor, but you wouldn't know it based on the amount of people that reach out. And going public with that, I went back and forth with Matthew on it. But I was like, I want to help others. If other people have questions, hopefully, this was before my surgery, I was like, hopefully I can be an answer and give them, I don't know. It was a really scary time, and no one could tell me anything about it. And that's what sucked. So I didn't want other people going through it to feel that way.
And also, when you Google it, you don't, it's just almost, you're in a deep hole.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I don't think you can Google any medical conditions these days.
Yeah, you can't
except
Google
for that dot on your
face.
Cheers.
Dot on my face.
Taylor,
Sorry.
put it up on the screen, Taylor. Pull up if we're gonna.
It's
no, but every time you go down the Google rabbit hole, you just leave terrified. You can't do it anymore.
Yeah, and I did that after I was diagnosed, but luckily Matthew shut that down pretty quick.
I like to start my day with a couple different concoctions before I have coffee. I like to hydrate before I get dehydrated. And one thing that Michael and I do every day is we drink our AG1. You guys have heard about AG1 on our podcast before. It's an incredible nutritional supplement. It's so incredible that I actually got two of my friends who you guys know hooked. So I got Katie hooked, who is our executive assistant. She absolutely loves it. She frosts it up in water. And then I got Taylor, our producer, hooked. And I'm especially excited about Taylor because Taylor is not the healthiest person in the world. And I think this is a great way to start, especially as a resolution for 2025. So he started drinking AG1 in the morning and he's loving it. He just mixes it right into his water bottle. He got the travel packets. He's made it really seamless, really easy. And I just think it's a great healthy habit to keep up with, especially for Taylor, who sometimes can, go off the rails when it comes to eating healthy. And Katie, who's always healthy, is drinking hers in the morning like me. So this new year, try AG1 for yourself. It's the perfect time to start a new healthy habit. And that's why I've been partnering with AG1 for so long. And AG1 is offering new subscribers a free $76 gift when you sign up. You'll get a welcome kit and a bottle of D3K2 and 5 free travel packets in your first box. So make sure you check out drinkag1.com/skinny to get this offer. That's drinkag1.com/skinny to start your new year on a healthier note.
One of the topics I personally get so excited about sharing with this audience is that of personal finance, how to save more money, how to invest your money, and how to make sure that you are putting more of your hard-earned money away for your future and giving less of it away. You deserve to spend it without stress or second-guessing yourself. This is why we love our partner YNAB, spelled YNAB. YNAB is a life-changing app that helps you do what you want with the money you have. You'll create a flexible plan for your money through the simple practice of giving every dollar a job, keeping you focused on the life that you want, whether that's covering your mortgage or funding your 401k. With YNAB, you'll stop wondering where your money goes and start deciding where it takes you instead. So much of the stress that we exhibit in our lives comes from personal finance, not understanding it, not being able to save it, not being able to invest it, essentially not being able to keep it. It feels like this ongoing hamster wheel. So whether you want to cover your mortgage, fund your 401k without sacrificing dinners with friends, or that long-awaited trip to Greece, YNAB has your back. 92% of users report feeling less money stress since using YNAB. Little known fact here, one of the leading causes of couples breaking up and divorce is because of stress over personal finance. What if you could rid yourself of that stress over money and personal finances and make sure that you're keeping more in your pockets? The average YNAB user saves $600 in their first 2 months and $6,000 in their first year. Imagine what else you could do with an extra $600 or even $6,000 in a year. Life is short. Spend it well with YNAB. Of course, we have an incredible offer for our listeners. TSC, Him and Her Show listeners can claim an exclusive 3-month free trial with no credit card required at www.ynab.com/skinny. Again, that's www.ynab, spelled YNAB.com/skinny. Check it out, ynab.com/skinny. New year, guys, new you, better you. Hopefully you're starting the year without getting sick. This is so important. There is nothing worse than starting the new year, especially in the winter season, getting a cold, getting a flu, getting sick. This is why Lauren and I love talking about Armor Colostrum. You guys know we're always on the lookout for ways to strengthen our immunity, our gut health, improve our fitness, metabolism, enhance our skin, hair radiance, all of the above. Well, when we discovered the incredible product that is Armor Colostrum, we thought the product was too good to be true because it helps accomplish all of those goals. I'm sure we've been talking about it for a long time. It is the best kept secret of industry insiders for a while, but word is finally getting out, and for good reason. Armor Colostrum is everywhere these days, and when I first heard about it, we had the founder of Armor on the podcast to talk all about the benefits of colostrum and how it can help transform our health. Don't just take it from me. There's tens of thousands of 5-star reviews and life-changing stories that have been written about Armor Colostrum. So whether you want to strengthen your immune system, which I hope is everybody, fortify gut health, which is going to help you combat bloating and feel lighter, ignite your metabolism, vitalize your hair growth, enhance skin radiance, fuel performance and recovery, Armor has you covered. For those that need a little bit more information, Armor Colostrum is patent-pending premium bovine colostrum concentrate that leverages proprietary cold chain biopotent pasteurization technology to preserve colostrum's 400 plus bioactive nutrients in their purest, most bioavailable form to ensure a composition that is uniquely optimized for human health. Armor is also sustainably sourced from grass-fed cows and family-owned dairy farms throughout the United States. Of course, we've worked out a brand new special offer for our audiences. Receive 30% off your first subscription order. Go to tryarmor.com/skinny or enter skinny to get 30% off your first subscription order. That's tryarmra.com/skinny. Tryarmor.com/skinny.
If you were to describe, this is a tangent,
Okay.
to someone who had never heard of sports, what the behind the scenes is like.
Behind the scenes, like family, like the players.
The dynamics of the wags and the women and the
Yes.
is there mistresses in there? Like if you were to describe, I imagine it like remember that scene
now
in
you really
Juicy?
You want to get the headlines
Yeah,
going
the
now?
headlines.
No, this is actually for my own selfish self. I imagine it like Jumanji.
Okay.
When all the different like animals,
Robin Williams?
are like there's so many dynamics. It's like an onion. I would think if you were to describe the behind the scenes of the wives and the mistresses and blah, 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 to someone who has no idea, aka me, because I've never been around sports really.
Yeah.
How are you describing it?
I mean,
Why is this funny? You guys?
I have had.
Has
The
no one
PR
asked
teams
you
are
this?
hanging on. They're getting the phone out to me like, when are we editing?
I have had. I have a lot of experiences to pull from. I've been a quote unquote wag for 16 years.
See, this is a perfect person to ask.
And I was
And
started
that's
as the
what WAG
girlfriend.
stands for wives,
She
Wives
was
and
the
girlfriends.
Wives and
the
girlfriends.
engaged, and the wife.
Yes.
wives and girlfriends
Wives
as
and
well.
girlfriends of professional
Now
athletes,
she's
I
the
think.
entrepreneur. They should add a wages. Wages.
I'm in.
Okay.
You know what? I have thoroughly I'm so glad that I got out of Georgia. And I'll say that because I don't think I would have ever left without Matthew. Getting to a place not knowing anybody, but the community that you are involved with, meaning the players and their girlfriends or wives. It is a very fun dynamic, but also a very sad dynamic because you do see, and especially because I was in one place for so long, it was like a carousel.
Yeah.
Women leaving, not the mistresses, like a carousel of like players getting traded, players getting
The mistress
cut.
is like sitting with popcorn and like a mustache with
I
the
have
glasses. in the
so many good stories I wish I could tell you, but I just don't think I can.
Can you tell an anonymous one?
I can tell. Oh gosh, I don't know. I'm looking over. Okay. Maybe at the end.
Okay.
But I love that people are so intrigued by this, and I do feel like it's because of who is now a wag in Taylor Swift. And the dynamic is about the same as if you moved with him for a job and you got to know, and I hate to bore you, but it's normal. Yeah, I'm so sorry.
like, is it-
There's no real housewives of athletes.
Did you ever see the show Wags?
Yes, of course.
Okay, it's nothing like that.
So it's fake.
Yeah, that's all fake.
But
I'm
is
so
it like
sorry.
this? Like we have a friend who's going to hear this. We have a friend and he has been a bachelor for a long time. But what
Okay.
happens is he starts dating someone and then he's one of our close friends. So then we all become friends.
Mm-hmm.
But about a year and a half into
It gets a little squirrely.
it gets a little squirrely.
It's always a year and a
wheels
half.
start to fall.
Interesting.
It's basically a pattern. It's kind of like if I was an investor timing cycles, I'll be like, okay, we're in this cycle.
Yeah.
Like, you could be like, this is the cycle. And it sucks because we meet these women and they're very nice and we become friends and they meet our children and we do a whole thing. But like once we're in that cycle, I'm like, well,
Here it goes.
So is that there's got to be the cycles.
There is, but
then like they go and then and so we lose because
it's tough.
you know.
So it is the same in that regard. There were some players that you knew not to get too close to the significant others, which honestly I
it's a
felt
cycle.
horrible about.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I did get close to a bunch in Detroit who were there a long time, and you never want to feel like you're singling people out or not allowing people into the group or whatever, but you also just knew. And sometimes there would just be a new girl the next week. So it was that managing that, or like making these girls feel welcome, especially as a quarterback's wife, you want everyone to feel welcome.
The quarterback's like the star.
Well, he's the leader of the team, Lauren.
Guys, I want you to understand something about me. I know nothing about sports. I do know that the quarterback is like the best. It's the shiny star.
He touches the ball. Yes, he touches the ball every time on offense. There you go.
So everyone's angling to get in with you.
I mean, no one angles. I'm too old now, to be honest.
No,
if I was younger, then yes.
Are they wearing like a crop top push-up with vagina out, or is everyone like, come on, there's gotta be someone?
Yes, there is definitely a mix of that. And there's the girls that get their hair and makeup done for every game, and there's the girls that show up looking a hot disaster. Those usually ones with the kids. So there is a dynamic there, and some girls are young and they have time and they have fun and they go out and they're like, come with us, and we're like, I can't.
Yeah.
And I used to be that girl when I was young. When I moved to Detroit when I was 19. I couldn't even get into bars. And so it was really fun for a long time. And then, you grow up and you have kids. And again, there is a big age gap between me and a rookie girlfriend.
Okay, so let me ask you this.
If you were to write
What's your strategy, Lauren? What's your strategy?
If you were to write a
15
book called like The WAG Guide.
The WAG Guide.
Wages Guide. We can include entrepreneurs too. What would you tell someone who's just coming into this world as a girlfriend? Like what is the survival kit?
Don't lose yourself. Don't lose who you are.
Because you put it all towards like cheering for the guy.
People tell you who to be. They tell you should be prettier. They tell you that you should just shut your mouth. They tell you they literally, and this is horrible, it's all on social media, but I do feel like when you're young, and I still do, like I'm not Superwoman. I don't not read comments and get upset. Like I still do that. And when you're younger, I do feel like they have a bigger influence over who you think you are and who you should be. And that's what honestly scares me with how big social media has gotten and how important it is to be famous on Instagram or whatever, that they lean into it like I did.
But right before you were here, we were with a really nice young woman. She's 28 and she has a big platform. And she was saying like it's challenging. It's even at the scale that it's challenging, like just the stuff that comes in. And it's as a young person, it's like, how do you...
I think it's because our brains were not meant for this many people in the peanut gallery and this much content.
No, I agree.
Yeah, you have to, I'm like, and I'm going to tell my kids this with my daughter. The internet's a movie set. There is lighting, there's makeup, there's a producer, there is a director,
that's good.
There is a filter. This is a movie set. So if you can equate it, like when I watched The Wizard of Oz when I was little and thought, oh, wow, this is a production. That's what the internet is. And I think you have to put that in perspective for girls. I think it's really important, or else you just get eaten.
Yeah, that's a really good way to do it.
I want to know your tips. You have 4 girls. How are you? What? Like,
I don't know.
Yeah, it's overwhelming.
I'm terrified of it. I mean, my girls are already like, I was just talking to Kira about this, but they asked for clothes for Christmas. They're 7 and 6. And I'm going, I'm pretty sure I was asking for Barbies or something to play with, but they're already so aware of what they look like. And I don't think I was aware literally until I got fat in college. Like, I don't think I knew. I was always playing sports. I was always just a little jockey, but my girls already are very, if they don't like their outfit, they're changing. If they don't like the way they look in their outfit. And I just feel like that's so young to be doing that. And it scares the shit out of me. Because I do think like, especially if we moved, this is why I love LA though. I love and hate LA. I love LA because they are no one's daughters here. They're not. They're just Chandler, Sawyer, Hunter, and Tyler. If we moved to where I think we would move if we moved out of LA, which would be back to Georgia, they would be Matthew Stafford's kids. And there's an added pressure to look a certain way. And I've felt that myself as an adult and couldn't handle it. So I'm terrified for my children. Like we're like gonna attempt no phones until you're 15 and see. And I'm honestly hoping by then, and I know it's far-fetched, I tell Kira this all the time, I hope they ban it because it's so bad for mental health. But we all know they won't.
We go, like we were talking again, like our generation of parents are kind of, no, not our generation, the generation before, so like that had kids in their teens when all this came out, were like the first guinea pigs, because a lot of these platforms, like it was Instagram or TikTok or whatever, like the parents they didn't grow up with social,
Yeah, they
and
didn't
the
know how to
kids
do
all
it.
had it. So there was no way to, like, we are the first generation that grew up with it, but later, because and now our kids are going to be able to get it a little bit later. We go speak at colleges, and I always say, like, are you a consumer or is it a tool? If it's not a tool and you're just a mindless consumer, then it's probably not a good thing for you. But if you can separate and realize, like, okay, people are using this as a tool to curate a movie set, to showcase whatever, and you can understand the difference, and I think you have a chance. But if they're just mindlessly consuming and the parent doesn't have an idea how to kind of differentiate it, I think that's really challenging.
I think that's, I mean,
because it's not going to go away.
No, it's not. And you know, we do our best right now where they don't have technology, but it's because I'm honestly scared that they're going to stumble upon Instagram. Not really stumble upon it, but like they have friends who have phones. They have friends who have Instagram accounts.
Well, it's scary too.
And that's terrifying. And they've already asked, but we try to do our best of just like limiting any, besides the TV. I'm all about some Apple TV. Go for it. I don't care. But phones, stuff like that, we're going to do our damnedest to try and hold off as long as we can until their brains can fully like be aware of what they're consuming and that it's not real, a lot of it. It's people's best days, the best of their best days. So but it's hard. And as a woman and as a 15, I couldn't imagine a 15-year-old girl because I didn't have it when I was 15.
Oh my God, it would have eaten me alive.
I wouldn't
15.
have survived.
Remember they had those journals they would pass around in school?
Yeah.
And then you'd
What do
like
you mean
rate
you
guys
did it
and
with
girls.
me.
No, but I'm saying,
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love that.
Yeah, we have our journal that we pass
Remember?
back and forth. We have a journal, a composition notebook that we pass back and forth. Your notes are 6 pages. Mine are like 2 sentences.
Like, Lauren, please respond. Please
Okay,
respond
real
to my
quick, because
journal.
I want to know, did y'all met very early on? Did y'all stay together the whole time?
No.
Okay.
He wishes.
Yeah,
we
he
didn't
does.
stay. No, yeah, you got to pull back. You got to be
yeah.
elusive.
I had to go run around for a little bit.
No,
Everyone's got to, test everything and make sure.
Yeah.
I think that's important.
I had
doing
to test a couple cars.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Hey, I came back.
You know
feel
what
good.
though? What's really scary? This is like, I know we're just meeting each other, but I have friends that have older kids that discover porn on the internet. And like back in the day when I was a kid, if you found a magazine in the bushes,
It was
you're
like
oh my
gold.
God, this is like
Yeah.
the thing, or you like found a video, but it was tame. It was not so crazy. And he was saying the biggest problem now is like the stuff that these kids are, it's so aggressive and
It's not
so,
like normal.
I didn't even
porn.
think about this.
It's
so-
not like having sex. It's like
and so what it's done
Yeah,
is
it's
it
like-
one, it
yeah.
desensitizes them, and two, creates like when they have their first experiences, like this is not even
This
close
is
to what it
boring.
is. And so then they it's causing all these issues with intimacy because the kids like think that that's
you have
what.
girls, so you're a little safer.
now I'm scared of what the boys think that should be happening
Well, yeah, that's true.
because my girls are going to be on the other side of that.
That's true.
Well, but it's for all of them. But it just.
Thanks a lot, Michael.
I
I'll be
don't
thinking
know.
about this.
Jeez, Michael.
Well, I don't know what the answer is, but I think that there needs.
Yeah.
I think a lot of parents want to shield a lot. I think I had a father who he was kind of crazy. He's 80 now, but he was kind of crazy. He would like tell me all these wild experiences and things that he would do. But then when I faced those things, when they got presented, like say it was drugs or whatever, I was like, oh, well, he already like told me so much and
His
explained.
dad was super radically honest with him about everything.
And I don't necessarily know if that's the right, but I think for this, it's a lot of conversation about like what Lauren was talking about, or if it's things it's like, these are not real experiences. They're artificial. They're amped up. They're meant to solicit a response and a dopamine, release. And I think like if you just kind of shield them forever and don't tell them, and then as soon as they get it, it's going to be like a kid on crack.
Yeah, you're right. And I will say the analogy is great because a lot of times I'm wondering the words to say of like, I'll be like, no, that's not real. And they're like, what do you mean it's not real? They're right there. I'm like, no, but that's not. There's filters. And they're like, what does that mean? So
Light.
Yeah.
You know what you should do? You should Google influencers setup. And you'll be
show 'em.
able to show them the stick with the diva light. Like they can see all the like movie production shit that's behind
Or
them.
even just
you're
show
right.
them what it's like to like edit a photo without
Yeah, you
anything.
could show them Facetune. Like you show them
I
the
should,
filter.
yeah.
Like this is what my face looks like without, and this is what it looks like. You show them.
Or you could do what we're doing and become Amish when they're around 12. And then you just go away.
Let me let you in on a little secret that a lot of influencers and celebrities are doing. Something that I love to do, especially when I go on vacation. Okay. It's called Vivrel. It's the first of its kind luxurious accessories members only club, providing members access to borrowed designer handbags, jewelry, watches, and diamonds. So I've gone on there and I have literally gotten to borrow the most beautiful pieces. The latest piece that I'm coveting is this Chanel. It's so beautiful. It's like a cobalt blue bag. And it's really timeless. It's like a Chanel wallet on a chain. And I think it's like almost $4,000, and you can literally go and just borrow it. And it's super affordable. It's like $45 a month. So what I've done is when I go on vacation to like France or Cabo, I can go on and sort of pick a theme and borrow a handbag. What's cool about the membership is that members can treat the Vivrel closet like their own, and they can borrow anything within their tier. And they have no return dates, which is awesome. Members can swap items once a month or keep items for as long as they like. Memberships, like I said, start at $45. You can use code SKINNY. I've used my own code before to get at the top of the Vivrel waitlist. There's a waitlist. And you also get 30% off your first 4 months of membership. Go to Vivrel.com and apply for a membership today using code SKINNY. You get 30% off for 4 months of membership. The code will also allow you to skip the Vivrel waitlist. That's Vivrelle.com. Use code SKINNY for 30% off 4 months of membership.
Quick break to talk about one of our favorite partners, and that is the farmer's dog. This is a new year. Healthy habits don't only apply to humans. It's not just new year, new you. It's new year, new pet. The farmer's dog makes feeding real, healthy dog food easy and convenient, and your dog will absolutely love it. We spend so much time thinking about how to optimize our own health, what to eat, what not to eat, and not nearly enough time thinking about what we should be feeding our pets. This is why we have been long-term partners and why we love this brand so much, because they take care of the ones that love us the most, our pets, our dogs. What makes them so different is that food from the farmer's dog is developed by on-staff board-certified vets and veterinary nutritionists to be complete and balanced. It's made from human-grade real meat and veggies that are gently cooked with the safety and quality standards of human food, because even the best dry and wet food dog options are highly processed, and because pet food is very loosely regulated, can use much lower quality ingredients than they claim to. The farmer's dog delivers their fresh-made, healthy dog food right to your door on a schedule that works for you and can be adjusted at any time within their 24-hour customer support period. The food is nutritionally complete for all life stages, including puppies. It's just real, healthy food designed to meet their unique nutritional needs. Again, why would you not want to feed your dog the healthiest food possible? Give them more years in their life so they can love you up, be here for a longer period of time, and be happy. Of course, we have an incredible offer for you. Get 50% off your first box of fresh, healthy food at thefarmersdog.com/skinny. Plus, you get free shipping. Just go to thefarmersdog.com/skinny to get 50% off. That's thefarmersdog.com/skinny.
You know what's buzzing? What is buzzing everywhere is non-alcoholic spirits. And you know what the best one is? Seedlip. Seedlip is absolutely incredible. It's a non-alcoholic spirit carefully crafted from a unique blend of botanicals and spices. It's made to be used as a base in your favorite non-alcoholic cocktails. This is like a real movement. I think people are really getting into the low and no alcohol trend. And this is a great way for you to drink on an occasion and have something that's like bubbly and fun. I personally love this when I have friends over to the house and I just don't feel like drinking. I know that a lot of my best friends right now are just not on the drinking train, and a couple of them just moved to Austin. So this has been a great way to have this like stocked in my fridge for them, or if I just want to take a break. You should also know that Seedlip is crafted with no added sugar or calories, which is my kind of drink. So Seedlip is a really different, disruptive situation. They're not a non-alcoholic gin, vodka, or tequila, but they're actually a whole new way of drinking with original and distinct flavors. I love that they use botanicals. I think that's really avant-garde and it's just more refined, so you can really expect taste. This is the non-alcoholic spirit you want to try. Start the new year off right by visiting seedlipdrinks.com and entering the code SKINNYCONFIDENTIAL to get 20% off your purchase. That's seedlipdrinks.com, code SKINNYCONFIDENTIAL. You get 20% off your next purchase. Promotion is valid until January 15th, 2025. Visit seedlipdrinks.com to learn more. What is the Kelly morning nighttime routine, if there is one?
Oh man, it's not great.
I mean, your skin looks beautiful. Like,
Thank you.
What's the tips?
I would say I sometimes don't wash my face at night. But I
Maybe
also,
that's the secret.
those are the days I don't wear makeup. Which is
that's fair.
Honestly, most days. But yes, I don't wear a lot of makeup either unless I'm with you guys, because this is very important.
I feel I only am wearing makeup if it's worth it.
Yeah.
No.
Like, you know what? He's seen you since you were what? How old?
Oh, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
I've seen her give birth.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You're fine. Everything
No, you
looks
haven't.
good
You
after
were
that.
behind the sheet.
I
Go
was
ahead.
around a sheet.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah.
In nursing school, we had to watch it, and it was.
No, he doesn't want. You're not watching it. You're like he acts like you're like the quarterback.
I'm like
said hi.
I'm like around the corner.
You got it.
Yeah. Okay. So go ahead. Your morning routine at nighttime.
Yeah. So a lot of times I don't wash my face. I do find that sometimes the oils are good.
I agree with you.
Especially as you get older. So that sometimes happens. If that happens, I definitely take a little bit longer in the morning to get a deep clean in. But I run very dry. So moisturizers, oils, that's really
Simple.
very, yeah.
Meditation, cold plunge sauna, workout.
No, God, I
what?
wish all of that. No. None of that.
I mean, you look like you work out every day. You working out?
I try and play tennis.
You play tennis. Michael and I just started about a year ago.
Love it.
How fun is it?
We love it.
It's addicting.
We love it.
Yeah.
It's like
It's really good for marriage too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been playing now for 2 years, and Matthew literally came to hit a ball with me and the lady I hit with and was 9,000 times better than me. And I'm not saying, like, he is athletic. I will give him that. But I'm going, are you fucking kidding me? I literally been working on this for 2 years, and I'm not athletic, but and I know men. But
Is that just innate, do you think?
yeah, probably. I don't know. But it was really fucking frustrating.
Like I said, he's an elite specimen that's playing at the top level.
I love. He's gonna love that you call him an elite specimen.
Yeah.
I mean,
Can you Google him so I can see him?
Here, I'll show you.
Taylor, why
I
is my
only
screen-
looked at Kelly's stuff.
Why is my screen not alive here, Taylor? What's happening?
I think
What's up with this broken office?
that Matthew is Kelly's husband.
I love you for
Do you
that.
know that?
That's my goal. When he's done, that's gonna be my goal.
Sorry.
We were on the East Coast this summer, and we were at this bar, and these girls, they had a couple of drinks. They came out. They go, "Oh my God, you are Lauren's wife." And I was like, "I sure am."
Right, I am. I love that for you.
I want to see like a picture. Is he like a Greek god or like what is Michael talking
You just want
about?
like a normal
Well,
picture
he's
of
an
him.
NFL quarterback. It's not easy to get
I
there.
probably
There's like,
won't recognize
But like,
him.
do you know what NFL quarterbacks look like most of the time, right?
Well,
and I love listen, this is what I love about my husband.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think some
What do you
are different looking
think?
than others. I think he's a good looking man.
Well, but like when you say specimen, I feel like people are thinking he has like an 8-pack.
No, I mean, like he's just like an elite athlete.
No, and I would say he is. I don't have. This is horrible. I barely have any pictures of my husband. One second.
What
We've
if
been
we
on a lot
just
of
Google him?
vacations.
Well, but the point is like, you
want
obviously
him-
like he's as a profession, the thing he does every day for his entire life is sports,
I mean,
right?
You can just look through those. Yeah. I mean, his job is to work out.
Yeah.
Which sounds fucking awesome. Hindsight.
I mean, he looks like an elite specimen. I can
told
see
you
why he
what-
said that.
I don't just listen, not everybody comes on. I'm not like, your guy's elite. I don't say that about everybody.
I have seen him, by the way.
He's-
I know nothing about sports. I could not tell you
Well, how
what
many seasons
LeBron
has he
James looks like, and I hear that word all the
Yes,
time.
you could if you saw LeBron.
Swear on my life, he could walk by me. I'd be
Oh,
like,
wow.
that guy's tall.
oh wow.
I have no
You have no
idea.
idea.
Good,
No idea.
Good. This is perfect for me. Don't look at any of these people.
So it's nothing against. I just don't know about. I know Tom
Lauren,
Brady.
most really good
because
athletes
of
look exactly like me. Like that's what
Giselle's
they mostly look like.
ex-husband.
Yeah, there you go.
You don't think
that's
of
fine.
Tom Brady
He
like
looks
that.
like a.
Yes, we do. I'm just kidding. No, we don't.
Oh, you don't.
He is
Wait,
the
this
best
is
to ever play.
Stephen Chambers. This is not him, or is that a picture? This is him.
That's him.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys are a great looking couple.
Oh, that's very sweet.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But yeah, I
He's-
mean, I would imagine probably because that's what he does. Like that, he would be able to get into the athletics and know the movements right away.
Yes,
even
he
the
kn-
tennis is challenging, but
I mean, he and just a ball in general. I mean, any type of ball he can manage, which sounds. Well, hold on. Let me take that back.
That's the headline.
There's a headline. You know what I mean. But no, he's just athletic. His hand-eye, all of that.
When he comes up to you,
Mhm.
is he like famous coming up to you or no? Was he just a normal guy?
When he came
When
up
you
to
guys
me,
met?
The first time you met?
I didn't know who he was when we first
Perfect.
met.
Okay, so did you like him right away or did it take some time?
He was adorable.
You
He
thought
was
he
a
was
little
cute.
chubbier. Yes, he
I
had
like
this
a little chub.
Me too.
Yeah.
He was a little chubbier. He was really funny. Then I found out he was the quarterback, which honestly kind of put me the other direction. I was like, ugh. You know what I mean? He was quarterback of an SEC school. Like, God knows. You know what I mean? So I was just like, oh, great. And we had our ups and downs for a while there, which was also a headline that I won't discuss, but you could probably look it up. But yeah, we loved and hated each other through college. And then when he was going to train for the NFL and leaving, I was like, all right, this was so fun, kind of. Like, I love you, enjoy life. That's literally, honestly, where I thought this was going. And he called me from training and was like, I want to make this work. I want to try to make this work.
So you kind of gave him a little absence to make him feel it for a minute.
Yeah, well, I really thought that I was like, you're going to be drafted somewhere, especially when you got drafted to Detroit. I was like, love you. You're going to be so great. And in the South, it really is about college football. So, like, I didn't know much about professional football. Like, it is about where I'm from. It's not about the Falcons, which is the Atlanta team. It's about UGA, Georgia football, which Matthew was the quarterback that's where Matthew was the quarterback, and I went to school and I cheered.
Shit, I should have dated an athlete. I never dated an athlete.
Look over here. What is this? I'm a
It's an elite specimen. What do you mean?
He's an elite specimen, but I don't think it's well, yeah.
Do you play sports?
I grew up playing a lot of sports, but
He plays tennis.
No, I played when I was a kid.
He doesn't play basketball. I hate to break it to you. I know he looks like it.
I played football when I was a kid. I was a cornerback.
You did?
Yeah.
A corner or quarter?
Corner.
But, so you're fast.
Yeah, but and
I've
I played
never heard that position in my life.
What
defense
is a
cornerback?
Defense.
Covering the receiver.
Yikes, don't tell me that's a little bit of a turnoff. You didn't play quarterback?
No, I played hockey. Then I was a boxer.
She's like, you weren't
I was a boxer for a while.
Oh, you played like everything.
Well,
you did a lot.
The problem is that I think when you're a kid, like your parents just throw you in a bunch of stuff. But then in high school, I was like $140, and then I got up there and I was like these massive dudes. I'm like, fuck this, I'm out of here. I'm not doing. And I was like, because there is, certain positions like you have to have a little bit of size.
Oh yeah, like every position.
Yeah,
Michael,
so
I think she knows that.
No,
it's okay.
But I've always done different things, but never at that level.
Never at that level. And I will be beating you in tennis.
I would love to play tennis.
What can we expect from your podcast when everyone goes to listen? Owning Your Worth. You also have another one you said. What can we expect?
I mean, honestly, my co-host is 50 years old. He is from Michigan. He is a gay dad that just got separated. So we are on two different life paths, and we kind of just talk about the modern relationships in both of those and failing and succeeding. Would love for people to hear and feel comforted that they're not alone if they have a really bad parenting day or if they have a really bad fight with their husband or wife. In today's society, I feel like we think things have to be perfect or we're failing. Turns out the way to make things close to perfect is to fail, to understand. And that's really kind of what we talk about. We laugh a lot. My co-host is pretty funny. Well, I'll let you listen to get to know him, but it is just something to come listen to, take your mind off the day, realize the person. I feel like people think I have my shit together, like you said, and I'm very honest about not having it together. And I feel like that comforts me knowing that everyone else is kind of feeling that way. And I hope it kind of comforts them knowing that someone that you would think has, her life kind of set out and planned and blessed is also struggling with a lot too.
Life is like that meme, that Kendall Jenner meme. It really is, where it's like she's sitting in bed with a hoodie on, and it's like me trying to figure out how to text all my friends back, blow my husband,
everything,
finish all my meetings, take care of my kids,
what
clean the house.
What if you just did the one that blow your husband? You'll figure everything else will take care of itself. Well, if you don't start being nicer, you're going to be in the future.
It's really not happy husband, happy life, though.
If you don't start being nicer in the future, Lauren's going to be I host a show with my gay ex-husband, dad.
Yeah. And you know what? I just realized you never put you in there. It was always everybody else.
It's all these different things you have to do all the time. It's to figure it out. It's a mathematical equation.
I feel like that's some people's lives.
Yeah. I think you got to pick and choose.
You do.
I think you can do 3 things at once really well.
Multitask.
Yeah, I think.
Which is what we were just saying.
I'm going to remind you of this later.
I also think there's seasons. Sometimes I can hang out with my friends and sometimes I can't.
Yeah, so I totally agree with you. And this is what I'll say. The friends that love you and understand you are going to be there after the season where you can't do anything.
Yeah, and the ones that don't, I'm sorry, we got to.
Yeah, I mean, they'll be back eventually. But.
Where can everyone find you? Where can they come see your show in December? Tell us all the things.
They can find me. My Instagram handle is kbstafford89. And then the morning after media is where all of our podcast stuff drops. What else? What else do you ask? I don't remember. But
Is
that's
the
where you can find us.
89 for his team
Is
number?
it 82 or 89? 89. That's the year I was born.
Got it. Okay.
Which I'm realizing I should, like, when I was young, I was like, yeah, that works. But now that I'm getting older, I'm like, I really should take the 89 out.
I thought the 89 was his number on his jersey.
Oh, no, 9. 9's his number.
Oh, so it kind of works.
Yeah, sure. It does. We'll just
4
say that.
kids feels like 8, and then he has a 9.
Yes.
Kelly,
exactly.
thank you so
I
much.
chose a wife that has no understanding of who these men are. That was my strategy. I'm
Wait,
like,
I love
good.
that.
Yeah.
What do you guys do on Sundays? You don't watch football?
I've never watched football.
You've never watched
I mean, my dad has watched the Broncos
Okay.
when I was little.
Are you from Denver?
She was born in
I
Denver.
was born in Denver.
Okay.
But
No, we grew up with the Chargers.
to be honest
Okay.
with you, I also don't
we were from
understand
San
it.
Diego.
I don't understand the game.
Well, I have a podcast called Time Out, and that is what that's for.
It explains it to people like
It
me
explains
that
it.
have no
Yes.
idea.
Exactly.
It's a bit of a foreign language if you weren't brought up around it.
It is even if you're brought up around it and have lived in it for as long as I have, I am still learning.
Oh, so it's not like an easy game like tennis where you can just figure it out.
I used to
No,
watch a lot
it's
more
not.
when I would gamble.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I have to be vested.
Okay. Well, isn't there like a DraftKings that you can gamble on?
Yeah, but no, now in Texas, I don't know if it's legal. Is it legal in Texas? I don't know. But I had at one point, I was like, it was going a little too much. I had like all of that. Then I would get invested. But then, because the problem with, if you know anything about sports, is we grew up with the Chargers. The Chargers
Okay.
fully betrayed San Diego. They bailed out. And then
Where are they?
LA.
Exactly. But then we lost the team and now we live in Texas.
Hold
And I'm
on.
like, I'm not a Dallas fan. I'm not because they were.
Well, thank God you're not a Dallas fan right now.
Kelly, wait for it.
Okay.
Throw the first pitch at the Padres game.
That's true.
Let's go.
And I
She did it.
was a 7.5, I would say.
Hell yeah.
It wasn't like a pathetic.
I
Did you
caught it.
make it over the plate? You caught it.
Yeah, she made it over the plate.
What? That's hard.
Little to the left, but it was.
That's
it was good.
okay.
No, it was good.
That's a long
good.
throw.
I know. So
She did it from the mound too.
Damn.
I
A lot
know.
of people don't choose to do that. A lot of women choose to step up, so that's
You know what
impressive.
I thought the whole time? I was like, if I don't catch this fucking ball, my man card is gonna be done. I'll be
Yeah.
finished.
When they asked you to catch it, were you like, damn it, I don't want
Well,
to?
I was like, if she throws it off and I can't, then like I won't. But I'll be, if she gets it to me and I miss it, I was like, I'll be finished forever. You know?
Don't worry about you who's throwing the first pitch from the center of
Worry
the
about
mound,
yourself.
but
No, but don't you agree?
maybe I'll.
I absolutely
Like
agree.
if I didn't catch it
I would be
and
talking
she got
bad.
it to me,
I would have been the fan talking about
would've
you.
been like, look at this bozo. He mi-
Absolutely. I'd be like, God, he can't even catch her ball. This is tough.
After this episode, I'm inspired to throw around an old pigskin.
All right, well,
There we go.
Teach me how to throw it.
All right.
I love this.
Kelly, thank you for coming on
Thank
the
you,
show.
Kelly.
Come back anytime.